300 to 400 times a day of children. And the reasoning is they're saying that, you know, just the stressors and the seriousness of adult life has caused us to lose something. And not only that, but men smile less than women on average. Now, what about this smile? Let's see if I can. We find out that smile and laughter are considered the first form of human communication before speech was developed. There are some scientists that believe that prehistoric man got together in groups and laughed together before there was formal speech. It's a signal that all is well, there's no danger, a sign, a symbol, a signal of welcome. And I come in peace. When you smile, you feel safe. And when you see another smile, you know that you are not in danger. Your system switches from the fight and flight mode of danger and stress over to the calming mode of the parasympathetic system. A smile is the universal sign for friendship and love. I can remember once telling my husband, after I had been doing a lengthy meditation session, that I really don't know why I feel so happy. Do you remember when I told you that? Okay, thank you for remembering. But I remember that distinctly, and I was thinking, gosh, there's nothing special that's gone on, nothing particularly that's making me happy, but I just felt happy. So where does this happiness, this feeling of happiness come from? There's no surprise that smiling correlates with happiness. There's been all these really fascinating studies. There was one I'd read about it before, but I've read about it recently again, of senior high school photographs that a group of scientists analyzed, and they were able to tell by who smiled and who didn't smile 25, 30, 40 years later, who were happily married, who were healthy, who basically were happy in their lives based on the smile or the lack of smile from a high school picture. It's a fascinating study. There's all these interesting studies on smiles out there. And they found that the people who smiled with this Duchenne smile, which includes your eyes, because you know there's fake smiles like cheese, right? That's just this. It's not smiling with everything, your whole face, including your smile. That is the best indicator. Whoops. So meet your happy chemicals. It's these neurotransmitters that make you feel good. Your brain releases a chemical cocktail of feel-good neurotransmitters, including dopamine, endorphins, and serotonins into the bloodstream every time you smile. So serotonin is a mood stabilizer, oxytocin is known as your love hormone, and endorphin reduces pain. Now I was thinking about this when I was reading, and I went, wait a minute. If these hormones are released into our bloodstream when we feel happy, I think it's the same hormones that are released when we feel love. And I checked it out. And it's true, except for the lustful hormones. So the happiness hormones and the feeling in love hormones, they almost completely match up, except you get the testosterone and the estrogen that when you feel like you've fallen in love. So I think that's interesting. Happiness, when you're in a state of happiness, it's the same feeling of when you experience love. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the reasons why we smile, but in general, it feels good, it makes you attractive, people are attracted to you, it relieves stress and it boosts your immune system, and you even live longer if you smile. Now, do you guys know this guy, Malcolm Gladwell? I highly recommend his books. This is from his book, Blink. He did some experiments, or maybe he didn't do them, he wrote about them. There was one experiment where they tested people who put a pencil in their mouth. And they went around all day with the pencil in their mouth. Those people, how they felt and how their blood tested out for hormones were the same as people who smiled. So they were saying, wow, we don't just smile because we see something that makes us happy. We can actually smile and make ourselves happy. Then, these same researchers, a group of them at least, they went around with frowns all day. And they were measuring the blood levels. And at the end of the day, they felt terrible. Just the act of frowning all day made them unhappy. So this is a really, don't you find this interesting? It's amazing. So it's not only your facial expressions of how you embrace life, but how you respond with your emotions is how you'll experience life. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Interesting self. If you make yourself smile, you can make yourself happy. Sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. Now, I have, Richard, would you pass those out? I wanted just to mention why we have the topic. What time did we get started? I want to give enough time for okay. I wanted to talk about where this topic of humor can save the world came from. It comes from this amazing philosopher, Professor Lin Yutang, who was the first Chinese professor to come to the West. He studied in Harvard, he studied in Germany. He was nominated for a Nobel Prize twice. He's also a humorist. And this book, The Importance of Living, which I recommend, we are reading for my a group that I facilitate. It's an interfaith group called Spiritual Literacy. We read different books of spirituality and philosophy. So we're reading this book, and I came across this chapter on humor can save the world, and it caught my attention. Can I ask somebody with a really good voice who likes to read, if they would read this section of this paragraph for me? Somebody like to read? Can I ask you over here? Would you read?
Me?
Yes?
English.
Oh, all right.
Second language.
Okay. Somebody who has English as a first language then.
I can do it.
Thank you so much.
I doubt whether the importance of humor has been fully appreciated or the possibility of its use in changing the quality and character of our entire cultural life, in politics, in scholarship, and in life. Because humor's function is chemical, it alters the basic texture of our thoughts and experience.
Can I ask someone else to continue reading?
Oh, sure. As humor goes with good sense and a reasonable spirit, plus exceptional subtle powers of the mind in detecting inconsistencies, follies, and bad logic, as this is the highest form of human intelligence, we may be sure that each nation will thus be represented by its sanest and soundest mind.
Would someone else continue?
Lynn goes on to explain that the world would be saved if we chose the best humorists in the world to be our international statements and diplomats.
But we don't have to have a conference of international humorists to save the world. There is a sufficient stock of this desirable commodity called the sense of humor in all of us, with one caveat, that at the opening of every morning and afternoon session, 10 minutes be devoted to the showing of a Mickey Mouse picture, at which all diplomats are compelled to be filmed. In this way, any war can be averted, owing to the chemical function of humor and the power to change our thoughts and the overall atmosphere in the room.
Can you imagine this bunch of international diplomats starting a war or even plotting one? The sense of humor forbids it. All people are too serious and half insane when they declare a war against other people.
It's terribly serious when our rulers do not smile, because they have all the guns.
Okay, so let's unpack this for a minute. This is making a pretty interesting, humorous, but serious suggestion. What is Lynn, Professor Lynn, suggesting here? What is he suggesting? We just read these paragraphs. Okay, first, we need to get politicians, statesmen, and diplomats who are humorous to represent our countries. And the reason we need to do that is because why? Humor is the highest form of human intelligence. So he says. Then he says, okay, maybe we don't need to just get, professional humorists to do this, because we all have this thing called a sense of humor. But then we need to get our leaders, our politicians, our diplomats, our statesmen together in one room, and before they consult and make decisions that impact all of us, they need to watch a Mickey Mouse cartoon. Now the reason it's Mickey Mouse, he's writing in 1937, this is pre-World War II, and Mickey Mouse is cutting-edge technology. First cartoons, right? I actually wanted to show it to you, but the few students I asked to watch it said, it's not really funny. But I actually thought that too when I first watched it, but then when I showed it to my spiritual literacy group of about 20 women, we were howling in laughter. There's a dynamic of something that we watch when you're in a group as opposed to alone. But anyway, but the idea is unleash your humor, because humor can change the atmosphere of a room. So to unpack this, he's saying in these paragraphs, humor is important, it's underappreciated and underutilized. Humor is the highest form of human intelligence. Humor has transformative power it alters our thinking and our experience. And most importantly, human beings who are humorless and too serious can and do create harm. In fact, they're the ones that decide to go to war. Lynn writing in 1937. So let's take a look at this idea of humor being the highest form of intelligence. Remember, he says all people are too serious and half insane when they declare a war against other people. So Albert Einstein, obviously, considered kind of intelligent. He attributed his brilliant mind to having a childlike sense of humor. And Mencius, a very famous Chinese philosopher, stated, "A great man is he who has not lost the heart of a child." What is the heart of a child? Mencius actually says that the problem in his world at his time, when did Mencius live? Are we talking 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago? We're talking a long time ago. He said the problems of his world were attributed to men losing the heart of a child. What is the heart of a child? What are some qualities of the heart of a child? Carefree.
Playful.
Playful. What is it?
Innocent.
Innocence. Open. Spontaneous.
Curious.
Curious. Happy. And that we can solve our problems if we all discover that heart of a child. Now there's different, humor is the highest form of human intelligence, but there's different intelligences, okay? I mean, there's four that I just want to touch on very quickly. We've got cognitive intelligence. That's the IQ that everybody knows. Interesting fun fact. The average IQ score in the general population is between 90 and 110. That's 90% of the world's population. Male comedians scored on average 138 in the gifted range, and female comedians scored on average 126 in the superior range. So we know we have a very gifted individual in this group. And then there's emotional intelligence. I really like this little guy here. That's the balance of the brain and the heart, right? There's actually a terminology for that is called heart coherence. When you blend and you unify your heart and your mind. And there are wonderful meditations that help you to do that. But anyway, what is emotional intelligence? It's the capacity to be aware, control, and express one's emotions. And people with high EQ tend not to be aggressive. So this is following in everything that Professor Lynn is talking about, because people who are funny not only have high IQ, they have high EQ, and they have high social intelligence. Social intelligence is the capacity to know oneself and to know others. It's social awareness involving social beliefs and attitudes, and a capacity to manage complex social change. Now this guy, Daniel Goleman, he's the first one to actually come up with this whole concept of emotional intelligence. and he's recently come out with a book about social intelligence. And he says people high on the social intelligence abilities use humor to get people to listen, to help communicate messages, and to aid in learning. All studies out there that show that kids learn better when they're having fun. To enhance group cohesiveness, the more fun we have at work, the more productive we are. Really, one quick anecdote. There was a study about stress on the job. So take two companies that have very stressful jobs. So the people in there working are very stressed. One company has a culture of humor. Those people are the ones that blossom, they're happy in their work, they go the extra mile, they do very well. Same amount of stress in the other company that has no humor, high burnout rate. It's not the stress, it's whether we're allowed to use humor to cope with the stress. And humor, actually, they're showing all the studies, make us more productive. Now, I did not realize this, but there's a fourth intelligence. There's something called spiritual intelligence. I thought, this is very cool. I actually Googled it, just wondering if anything would pop up. And there's books written about it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. But when I read what spiritual intelligence was, it completely makes sense. It's the self and self-awareness, universal awareness, self-mastery, social mastery, spiritual presence. I'm not going to go into this, but we're going to have another meeting next Friday. Cece, where are you? Next Friday, right? Do you want to make a little announcement about that?
Yeah, we're going to have a following fireside at a professor's house, just on Pongfulang Road, very close to Hong Kong, about 15 minutes bus drive there. And Kate will also be the host of that fireside.
On this topic, spiritual intelligence. So I'm not going to speak to it more, but interesting enough, humorists can also be very spiritual people. You don't think that spiritual people, I'm not saying religious people, I'm saying spiritual people, and there is a difference. Because the end point of a spiritual life is joy. Does that look like a cool book? Between Heaven and Mirth. And we read this book, the Book of Joy. There are not two leaders, spiritual leaders that I know that are funnier than these two guys. In fact, we have, they got together for the Dalai Lama's 80th birthday. This is Reverend Desmond Tutu. And they were kidding around so much. They have it actually, it's on a YouTube, you can find it on video. They're laughing so much that Desmond Tutu says to the Dalai Lama, stop it and act like a holy man. Hilarious. The laughing Buddha, symbolizing abundance, life is good. The cosmic joke behind enlightenment. The great cosmic joke is that you are what you are seeking. Laughter is innately spiritual and holy. If you can laugh at yourself, you can forgive yourself. If you can forgive yourself, you can forgive others too. And this is a quotation from Abdu'l-Baha, who's known as the master in the Baha'i faith. In Party, when he was visiting America, They were asking him for words of wisdom upon his party. He could have said anything, and he chose as his parting words to be, I want you to be happy, to laugh, smile, and rejoice in order that others may be made happy by you. So he brings in another element. Happiness is linked to smiling, we know that, and joy, smiling and laughing. But there's a purpose to it, not only for us to feel good, but to make others feel good. That's that ability to change the dynamics in a room, to change others. But wait, why? Why are humorous people smart? Or are funny people smart, or are smart people funny? That's what I was wondering about that. And so I did some more digging. I love Google. Can I believe that my whole youth and even my university life didn't have Google? Anyway, I love Google. And so I learned the reason that smart people are funny and funny people are smart is because of dopamine. It makes us feel great. But in addition to making us feel great, it opens our learning centers. And we make more neural connections. And so, while you're feeling great, your brain is making more connections. And when you laugh, it's like having a massage of your brain. Because it has to use all the different parts. And so it gets a workout. And so, whoops. This is my neural network. I love this. Thank you, Google. Laughter in the brain. The right hemisphere gets the joke, and then stimulation of the motor sections evoke the physical response to the joke. It takes the whole brain to produce a laugh. And in the end, you get a stronger brain, a smarter brain. Correlation between humor and intelligence. Laughter is medicine, all kinds of research on this. All the physical health benefits, the mental health benefits, the social benefits. It's a good thing. Laughter has transformative powers. Mirror neurons. Have you heard this? Mimic the emotions of the people around you. That is why smiling and laughter is contagious. But if you read more of the studies about this mirror neuron, if I smile, chances are you're going to smile back. But it's more than just smile. Whatever my emotional energy is and I bring into the room, these mirror neurons make you feel what I'm feeling. So if you're feeling really bad and negative, you bring that energy into the room, and people actually will start to feel what you feel. It changes the dynamic, the frequency in a room. So all the more we have to be really aware of our emotions and what energy we're sending out there. It's a responsibility. When you laugh, you change. When you change, the whole world changes. Let's save the world together. Thank you, Dr. Nury.
Okay, hello, hi. I'm going to suggest we move this sofa because I'm feeling my neck is hurting by thinking about your neck. It must be mirror neurons. So let's move this sofa around. Right. Good. Well, thank you, Kate. That was great.